and it's a very sweet, wholesome book. It's on KU as well, which is always a good bonus. I really enjoyed this one. I think when I think about it, sometimes I just want to scream. I ended up reading... Hello my lovelies, and welcome back to another video on my channel. If you don't know me, I'm Eva, also known as Eva's Nails. I do a lot of nail, bookish and blog style content, so if that's something that you're interested in, make sure you stick around. In today's video, I'm going to be doing my February reading wrap up. I'm really excited to be telling you guys all about the books I read in February. I feel like I read a lot of really good books. We had a 5-star, which is obviously amazing. And I also read a very popular series that I'm thinking you guys might want to know what my thoughts are about it, because this whole universe at the moment of where these books are based is a massive talk at the moment, so stick around. So here are my February statistics. I ended up reading 6 books during the month of February. One of them was a 5-star. Oh my god, massive moment. One of them was on my Kindle and the rest then were physical copies. I ended up reading 4 fantasies, 1 kind of romance fiction book, and then 1 a primary romance. I do think I had such a good reading month in February. I read a big series that I was so happy I read it, and also have a lot of thoughts about it as well, so I can't wait to tell you all about that. And I had a book that has now become a god tier for me. Honestly, was a really good reading month for me. So to start the month of February off, I ended up reading Cowboy Casual by Holly Renee. I absolutely adored this book. It's a second chance cowboy romance, and it really does just hit that little spot that you need sometimes. It's about this girl that comes back to a small town that she grew up in and obviously bumps into an old love interest of hers, an old boyfriend, an ex-boyfriend. Did they date? I think they dated. Yeah, they dated. They did date. And it's a very sweet, wholesome book, definitely very light-hearted. Also, it's on KU as well, which is always a good bonus. It's definitely a fast-paced book, something that is a nice palette cleanser. I would highly recommend it to anyone that's maybe in a reading slump or is looking for a really fun, quick, spicy little time. I honestly recommend this book so much. I ended up rating it a 4-star, loved it, and will definitely be reading the next book in the series, which I believe is either out or is out soon. I'll pop on the screen when it's out anyway, and can't wait to read that one. Quick thing, if anyone is wondering about my Kindle decorations, I am obsessed. I've recently really got into like properly decorating my Kindle. I've always decorated it, but I mean like to another level. So I have a book insert from, let me check, because we've got to be giving credit to where credit's due. Firstly, the charms. This is a Boys of Atonement charm, and then this little plug here, that little guy, is from Cozy Chapters Store. I did just give you a little sneak peek into one of my most recent reads. Wait till March. Just want to point out, if you actually don't know, Boys of Atonement is one of my favourite, and I'm talking favourite series of all time. It is another level of god tier for me, so obviously I had to get a little moment for it on my Kindle. And then also I just realised that my insert is also from Cozy Chapter Store as well. So this is an alchemized insert, and I fell in love with it. All of the quotes and just, yeah. I don't know if you can actually see alchemized here and here. Alchemized should always have a special place in my heart, always and forever. And then my magnetic pop socket is from X Art Design Gifts. These are all on Etsy as well, if I haven't already said that. And I absolutely love this. It is a MagSafe one, and it's just literally perfect. I'm absolutely obsessed with my Kindle. I've had this Kindle for so many years, like maybe 5-6 years now, and I'm obsessed with her, and she has done me well throughout the years, and I will cry if this ever was to die on me. So the next book I ended up reading was Rebel Witch by Kristen Cicerelli. This book was a highly anticipated book for me. I believe this came out last year, but I read the first one on my Kindle, so I was like, oh, I'm just going to read the next one on Kindle. But tell me why it wasn't on KU when the first one was for a short period, but it was. I don't know about that. And when it was released, I was so excited for it, but it was like $11.99 for Kindle for a digital download, and I thought, I will have to wait for the paperback. And I did. Somehow I ended up waiting for the paperback, and I literally picked it up on paperback release day, and it was so good. This, I can't say too much about it because obviously it's a second book in a duology. The first one is called The Crimson Moth. So this book is a very fast-paced witch and a witch hunter fantasy with a lot of romance. I would say it's more romantasy over fantasy romance, and it's a really fun time. It's dark in elements, but it's got its happy moments as well. I think the first book specifically has a lot of very popular, famous romantasy tropes that are done well. It's not just put in there for the sake of it, it's actually done really well. So obviously this one follows the second one, so the tropes follow along. I really enjoyed this one. I think I wanted a little bit more. Not sure what more I wanted, but I wanted a bit more from it. But overall, I ended up rating this a 4-star read. I would highly recommend this duology to people that are looking for a really quick, fast-paced, easy read. You connect to the characters very very early on, and you feel for them and you understand them and why they do what they do. So yeah, I really recommend this to anyone that's looking to kind of dip their toes into fantasy, dip their toes into a romantasy, but aren't looking to commit. Kristen Cicerelli's got you. Now thirdly, this book, even just thinking about it now, has put me in a spin. Honestly, I think about it daily, and when I think about it, sometimes I just want to scream, sometimes I want to cry, or sometimes I'm giggling and kicking up my feet thinking about quotes and moments within this book. If you can't already tell from a little sneak peek of the cover here, it is The Favourites by Lane Fargo. I did not understand the hype at first. When people were talking about this book when it first came out last year, everyone was obsessed with this book, and I was like, oh, I need more of a romance. I don't just want a fiction, because that's what my reading taste was like back then. I thought, oh, this is going to be a book I'm never going to pick up, I'm never going to love. Oh, how I was wrong. So when I first picked this up, I was actually really ill. I was ill very early at the beginning of February, and I started it, but I couldn't get myself to get through it because I was so ill and I needed something very fast paced. So that's why I picked up Cowboy Casual. And then I felt like I needed to be in the right mood for this. So I believe I read about 150 pages. And the first 150 pages, I will be honest, are slightly slow. They are young characters at the beginning of the book. You're following them throughout their life, and it is quite slow at the beginning. But once you've hit the 150, oh my god, you can't put this down. So basically this book is about two figure skaters / ice dancers. They are a couple, a pair, and it's all about their difficulties through life. People have kind of said this is a mix of Wuthering Heights and Daisy Jones and the Six. So it's done in that interview style where you'll have those present chapters, but then afterwards you'll have like the interview from different characters throughout the book, and obviously the interviewer. I think that's what I'm looking for. And that Wuthering Heights kind of vibe comes from all the trauma these characters put each other through and the difficulties that they face. But I love the figure skating aspect of this. I used to skate when I was young, and I'm now getting back into it thanks to this book. I just was absolutely obsessed with the characters, but oh my god, the amount of times I wanted to these characters and chuck this book across my room was insane, because they make decisions in this that you think, why have you done that? Why have you ruined it for yourself? Like, why? But it was so good, and obviously I ended up giving this a 5-star. It is definitely a god tier book for me. Fairyloot are actually coming out with a special edition of it in April, and I'm not a Fairyloot subscriber because I'm still on the wait list, but I'm hoping I can get my hands on it, so fingers crossed there's some left over, because I absolutely love to have a special edition of this, because yeah, this cover's cute, but the Fairyloot one is another level. But I highly recommend this book. As I said, the pacing really picks up. The romance isn't heavy. It is a fundamental aspect of this book, but the characters and their journey and their growth is a bigger part of this book. So please be warned that this isn't a romance primarily. It is a fiction book. You will hate these characters at points, but it's done so well that you then love them at the end, and you feel for them and you cry with them and you just feel it all. So I highly recommend this book. If you don't pick this up, I honestly don't know what you're doing, because I'm hoping I've convinced you. The next 3 books are part of a series. Now you might be able to tell from the chunk of these what series I'm on about. Plus I also mentioned this book in my last video. I think it was like my Saturday vlog or something. I ended up reading Crescent City by Sarah J Maas. Honestly, this series has taken me a while to get to. I started reading Sarah J Maas about 2 years ago. I read ACOTAR maybe 2-3 years ago. I read Throne of Glass 2 years ago, so I think it's been that long. And I was so daunted with these books because of the size of them. It is actually insane. Plus, the reviews and the feedback aren't as good as ACOTAR and Throne of Glass, but I was still really intrigued. Plus, they connect to an extent, so I was like, I've got to read them. So starting off with the first one, this is House of Earth and Blood. I always get them confused. And this book, again, she's chunky and she's actually the shortest one, which is insane. So this book is like an urban fantasy. You are following a character called Bryce. She is half fae, half human, and you basically follow along her journey. I don't want to give too much away, because I do believe with a fantasy it's best to go in pretty much blind, because sometimes the synopsis can give away too much. So I do think just going in blind. But yeah, this is an urban fantasy. They've got phones, they've got scooters, which I found weird at points. I was like, she's on a scooter. And then you have, what were they called? I can't remember what they were called, but then the other characters had wings, but they weren't fae. They were fae, but they weren't fae. But I can't remember what they were. I just can't remember. I loved Hunt in this. I loved him. I like him. Take what you want from that. I liked him, but I liked Rune more. I think a lot of people kind of are on that same wavelength, especially in the second one. I really did enjoy this book. I think the mystery element is very heavy on the mystery and the plot, so it keeps you going. And I was so intrigued and I was so invested in what we were learning and where it was going, and I thought, this is a bit of me. It's fast-paced in that sense. You will absolutely devour this book for sure. So I ended up rating this one a 4.5 stars. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. It made me want to go straight into the second one with how this ended, that's for sure. So the next book is House of Sky and Breath, and I enjoyed this one, but not as much as the first first, I think my comparison is the plot of this one. I wasn't as invested as the first. I think it follows along. It just didn't hit for me, basically. I think more for this one, I was invested in the romance. I think that's where this was going. And unfortunately, I did get a spoiler for something on TikTok. It's not a huge spoiler, but it was just something mediocre. I was like, I didn't want to know that. I wanted a surprise about that, which is really annoying. And I was quite frustrated with that. But when it came to that, I was like, oh my god, okay, amazing, love it. And as I said, I loved Rune in this one. I think he was quite an important character within this one. I loved Bryson Hunt in this book. I think their romance just progresses beautifully. But yeah, the plot just didn't hit as much. I liked it, but I didn't love it as much the first. I think the first I was much more invested, and this one I was just primarily invested in the romance and where that was going. But I ended up giving it a 4-star. I still loved it, and I still really enjoyed it, and still absolutely devoured this book. And then finally, of course, you can see where this is going. I ended the book on House of Flame and Shadow. Loved this book. She's chunky, but I loved this one. A lot of people online did not like it. I don't exactly know properly for what reasons why people didn't love this one, but I like this one a lot more than the second one. I was so invested in the plot, potentially even more than the first one, just a tad, but I loved where it went. I loved where we went. I loved the journey we went on with Bryce and her kind of conclusion, because I think with these 3 books, Bryson Hunt's story is now completed, but I think we might potentially be getting more Crescent City books, but of different characters. And it depends on what characters though, because there's some characters I'm not bothered about their book, so I'm hoping it would be certain characters, not other characters. But I really enjoyed where this went, and I thought it was brilliant. Like, a lot of people did not like it, and I was like, I loved it. I'm not going to give any spoilers, of course, of what I loved about it, because it will completely spoil it, but I really enjoyed it, and I ended up giving it a 4.25 stars. I think this series is underrated because people have rated Actor and Throne of Glass so highly, and yeah, this isn't the same as those books. Those books are mostly all 5 stars for me, and people just didn't rate these ones because I think they're longer, and I think the growth of the characters is slower, and the plot is slower of what you're understanding and developing and what you're learning. But I still think they're really, really good books, and I do wish more people love these because they are really enjoyable. And I also do recommend listening to the audiobooks, especially the graphic audio. I listened to these as well as read them and immersive read a couple chapters here and there, and I really, really did enjoy it, and I would definitely recommend doing that as well because there are quite a few characters in these books, and I think by doing that you get to separate the voices a little bit better in your head. But yeah, I really did enjoy them, and I wish more people loved this series because it is very underrated, I think. So those are all the books I ended up reading in the month of February. I feel like I had such a good month. I had some really good reads, some really interesting reads, and read a series that I have been waiting years basically to read. I absolutely loved them and really, really enjoyed them. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!